Institutional repositories are emerging as a vehicle for new directions in how libraries can support the academic community both locally and globally. An institutional repository is the best place for collecting and perpetually and securely preserving and disseminating digital copies of the intellectual output of an institution. It is this need to preserve content created by faculty and students, such as articles, books, theses and dissertations, images, gray literature, reports, and digital collections that gave birth to the Institutional Repository of Central Philippine University. We hope to be a part of a global intellectual community where digital assets are findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable.
I will be presenting Academic Institutional Repository as a treasure trove for 21st century education. My co-authors are Dr. Reza Valenzuela, Vince Palculio, and I am Aliana Delgado, and we are from Central Philippine University. In this presentation, I would like to describe the development of our Academic Institutional Repository as an open online access to the university's research and scholarship, to explain the digitization and building the digital collection, share our perspectives on the new models of scholarly communication, and share our challenges in maintaining the open access repository. Just a brief background about our country. So we are from the Philippines, and this is a third world country in Southeast Asia. So it is an archipelago consisting of 7,000 islands with different languages and ethnicities, and divided into three major areas, which is Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So there are around 2,000 higher education institutions, and as of now, there are very few institutional repositories in the country. And the Bahandian is just the 9th repository in the country as listed in the Open DOAR. Central Philippine University is a private university established in 1905 by Christian missionaries. So this is one of the oldest universities and the biggest universities in the region. Last year, we were included in the QS World University Rankings of Universities for Asia, where we ranked 650 plus, and we are the only university in Western Visayas included in the list of 15 universities from the Philippines. So the development of this institutional repository is the university's response to the growing demand for research output. So a huge amount of research is produced each year in the form of research reports, theses, and dissertations. These are usually the main reference sources for other students conducting their own researches. Without an open access online platform, this will only be shared in a small community. So this initiative was also started because of the pandemic to offer other unpublished materials an online platform so people can access it remotely. Bahandian, we chose this name and this symbol of a pearl inside a shell. Bahandian is a Hiligaynon term which means treasure chest. So this symbol and the name, we chose this to symbolize the treasure of knowledge stored in the repository. In terms of the development of the repository, it was pretty fast for Philippine standards. So during March 2020, there was the COVID-19 lockdown in the Philippines where businesses, schools, and almost all establishments were closed. Only during May to June 2020, we were starting to go back to our workplaces. So we focused more on building the virtual reference services of the library. And around November 2020, the Vice President for Academic Affairs expressed that there was a need to track the faculty publications because the Commission on Higher Education will be considering this as a factor for the renewal of the autonomous status of the university. So there was a need for some kind of platform to track the publications and the citations of faculty researches. So our library director and our library consultant, Dr. Reza Valenzuela, who is also one of my co-presenters, they created a proposal for an institutional repository. It was submitted to the VPAA and it was approved right away. And once it was approved, we were starting to plan how to create the repository. So this is not just the effort of the library, and we consulted the help of CIFDEC, or the Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Center here in Iloilo. So they are a private research institution, and in the region, they're the only one who has an institutional repository. They collaborated with us to create a repository. So they also provided trainings to share their experiences in building a repository. December 2020, we started requesting for equipment and the system was set up. The following year, in January 2021, we started our training and actual digitization for including documents in Bahandian. So all the librarians in the library were assigned to work for Bahandian in 2 months, and we also added some on-the-job trainees, 5 on-the-job trainees from College of Computer Studies to help us digitize gray literature and include them in the repository before launching. So our initial goal was to have 300 documents ready before launching. For this repository, we were able to have around 3 to 4 months duration from initial planning to establishing, launching the repository. But this is not just the sole effort of the library. So the repository was created through the effort of the library director, the librarians, the cooperation of the academic community, the university administrators, and the help of our consultants and experts that we collaborated with. According to our VPAA, Dr. Irving Domingo Rio, the digital repository provides the opportunity to create a central virtual place to which faculty and students can deposit their scholarly works. So this can provide research to researchers and making the university more visible in the global community. We want the output of the faculty to reach other researchers. So we want the research output of our faculty to be more visible globally for others to cite and use it for their own needs. These are just some simple presentations of our statistics ever since we started. So we initially launched in February 2021, and as of now, Bahandian is not just accessed in the Philippines, but also in other countries. The United States, countries in Europe and Asia are the top 10 visitors of Bahandian. And since it is in the repository, it is now being indexed in Google Scholar, which also increased our visibility. These are the top countries downloading from the repository. Here are the top viewed entries in Bahandian. It is very diverse, from policy to legalization issues to student performance and communication patterns. The researches that were frequently visited are major issues in the Philippines, like same-sex marriage and divorce is not yet legalized, and the country is at least open to the LGBTQ community. Most of the top viewed studies deal with legal issues, but there is also interest in business and education. Feasibility studies, perception, and performance studies are most frequently downloaded. There are also reference books such as Dictionary of Agricultural Engineering and other books on agricultural engineering that many people are downloading. Of course, we also face challenges in this repository. When we created this platform, our library consultant created an open access policy. This was also approved right away by the administration. So in general, our policy is open access. All the publications of the university are available in full text. However, for unpublished materials like theses and dissertations, the copyright still belongs to the author, and as much as possible, we try to contact the author in case someone is requesting for the full text. But in general, we provide the information unless the author has explicitly stated that he or she is not allowing access for, like for example, if that research is currently in the process of being submitted to journals for publication. But there is still need for further marketing of the platform to the community. If faculty or students want to submit, they can email us. We also created a guide for them if they want to self-deposit their works. They input all the necessary data about their work, and there is an approval process where the submitted entries will be checked by the librarian for accuracy before it is approved in the platform, and once it is approved, it will be available for the public. So here are some words from our university president about the repository. The pandemic has caused a lot of changes in the university operation. However, we accepted it with a positive mindset. We needed to make sure that life in the university continued, and so we shifted to online learning. It opened a lot of possibilities, a need for online resources which was not available in the past because students come to the library to search for information they need. We started to make sure that these scholarly works will be available online. So what we have is a digital repository where research on the campus can be accessed anywhere in the world. So thank you for listening. And if you have any questions about this presentation, you can ask in the Q&A or contact us.